speech, but I've asked 3 or 4 people to say some words. I've asked John Philip Santos is going to be our first speaker, and then I'll introduce each of the other speakers so that we move right along. There's only one microphone. I want to tell you about John Philip Santos. Many of you know who he is. He was the first Mexican-American Rhodes Scholar in the United States, correct? He was at St. Catherine's University at Oxford University. He also wrote one of my favorite books on San Antonio that just has a little touch of mysticism, but he actually captures the spirit of San Antonio, places unfinished at the time of creation. Did I get that right?
I believe, yes, thank you.
John Philip writes very complicated titles to his book. But in any case, I wanted him to talk, one, because I greatly respect him, love his writings, but in addition to that, he is a daily user of the park, as best I can tell. He's a runner, and I have run into him at different places in the park, and he was one of the first runners to take advantage of starting on one side, going across the bridge to the other side, and he had to turn around and then come back. You do that 3 or 4 times a week, don't you?
At least.
I see you out here all the time. So, John, come on up here, if you will. And all you're going to do is just whatever you want to say about a user's perspective.
Thank you so much, Mayor. I lived for 20 years on Central Park, right on Central Park West, 97th Central Park West. And I can say one thing about Hartberger Park, or as we like to call it in my familia, we call it Rancho Phil. Rancho Phil beats Central Park by a mile. And it may be half the size of Central Park, but it has twice the ambition, it has twice the presence. Whenever I come here, I always think also about the First Nations, the people who preceded all of us here, the Bayaya, the people who call these lands Yanawana. Their presence here echoes and reverberates every time you walk these trails. It's an auspicious way to connect with the deep past, to understand the complexity of our heritage in San Antonio, the unique mestizo heritage that we have in San Antonio. So when we come into the park, we're seeking well-being, maybe trying to drop a pound or two, seeing if we can release some anxiety, but we're also communing with our ancestors. We're communing with the deep past of this place. Just a short walk from here, you can find the tree that Phil originally hugged and began this whole adventure, this 450-year-old tree. So just imagine that this tree's been keeping witness of these lands for 450 years. Go have a look at it. It's an amazing mystical tree that has animal forms and spirit essences to it. Walking here is an act of magic. And I was a frequent user of both when it was a bicameral affair. When we had the Blanco side, we had the Northwest Military side. As I told Mayor recently when I first saw him on the land bridge, by creating this land bridge, now there's an infinitude virtually of trails here that you can trace. Spirals and rectangles and loops, and I might run myself into oblivion here. So it's a way of connecting with the ancient world, a way of connecting with the natural presence of all of the great flora and fauna, the bedraggled coyotes, the curious deer, all of who will greet you here, the hawks that sweep down to say hello. And with the inauguration of the Skywalk, I was wondering if we would find a way, making this amble along the treetops, to connect with the deep ancestors, when our ancestors were in the treetops. So we came down from the treetops into the savannas, like the savanna in the Northwest Military side of the park. By raising ourselves up to the level of the treetops again, we are communing with those ancestors. So, I see a lot of folks here every morning running, people, mothers with children, with new babies who have workout groups, people doing Tai Chi Chuan, people doing Bible study. A few weeks ago, a ritual unfolded here on the land bridge. I don't know if anybody got pictures of it. They were auto-documenting it, but a woman dressed as a kind of nature deity, draping a long red velvet cape, made a procession across the land bridge. So people use this park in all kinds of unexpected ways to fulfill themselves and to bring great joy to the city. For that, I think we all have to be grateful. And I want to thank Mayor Hartberger again for all he did to make this park possible, for all of you here who also played a role in making that possible. And just use the park as often as you can. It does us all a world of good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Doctor. Good job.
He was overjoyed.
It gives me pleasure to